take every month that has 5 Sundays in it, and we take the 5th Sunday to do different service projects. And after worship, we gather together to eat, because what good Christians are we if we don't eat? And then we go from there and we split off into different projects, different service projects. And we usually have anywhere from 2 to 4 projects that we do. And we actually came up with this idea because we borrowed it from another church. It's the one kind of stealing allowed in the church. We borrowed it from South Hills Christian Church in Fort Worth, Texas. And we kind of made it our own thing. And we wanted to do this because we wanted to become a more missionary and mission-centric church. We wanted to involve people in a new and in a different way. So some of the goals and the purpose that we came up with, we're experiencing a new way of ministry and doing things differently and experimenting and getting our hands dirty and not letting everything go right the first time, which is very true of what happens. The second thing that we wanted to make sure was that there was intergenerational mentoring going on. We have a lot of young kids and a lot of old people and not a lot of people in the middle. And so we wanted to make sure that these younger kids were getting the skills that they had. So we do things like baking and cooking, but we always pair a younger kid with somebody who's older who has these skill sets so that they can teach them. We wanted to show that we cared for our community, that we were in our community and we were there for them. We wanted to reach out to people that we were missing in our community, those people that were kind of not coming because they didn't feel they met the standards of churches, which is, you know, not the greatest thing, but that's how people think. We wanted projects for all ages, and we wanted to become more missional. So some of what we do, we always have at least one project inside the church building, because we know some people don't like to get outside, right? Some people are scared of that. There is always intergenerational mentoring, meaning there is no age limit. So yes, my 3-year-old still comes and participates in these things. The 90-year-old still comes and participates in these things. We are always creative in what we come up with for projects. And one of the greatest things about being creative is there's never an end to what we can come up with and what we can do. And we always feed people, because church is not church without food and without a meal and without an agape feast. So these are some of our outdoor projects that we've done. Simple things like painting. You can see Mackenzie over here learning how to paint. I think she got more paint on herself than she did on the actual fence. But this was for one of our longtime residents in Dighton. Her name is Elsie Stevens, and who is wheelchair bound and just couldn't get out and make her property look nice again. We also do some gardening for some elderly folk around, keeping up with their property. Mac Jr. over here is doing some window trimming, and that helps protect the buildings from the storms, especially this past winter that we've had. This was one specific man's house. His name is Sonny. He recently passed away, but he needed a new roof and he needed his backyard cleaned up. He was the leader of Alcoholics Anonymous in town, and so there was a trailer on his property which where AA met, and so we cleaned up around it so it was easier for the community to get there. We redid his guttering, we pulled weeds, we trashed out an entire shed. It was quite a big project, but we spent the entire day there. We've also done just general lawn care, and we did worship in the park. And while we were at the park, which is also a missional project in and of itself, we brought homemade cookies and put them on plates, and then we passed them out to different people. We also had games for the kids. I don't think I have a picture of that, but we had games for the kids, and we had a burger and hot dog feast. One thing that our church has really latched onto, because of some own individuals in our community that have accessibility issues, is building ramps. We live in Dighton, Kansas, which I describe as living in the middle of nowhere, and I love it. But it means it's very hard to get people to come and do work and to be there. And so one thing we've latched on is building ramps so that our elderly who are now in wheelchairs can get into their homes more readily and more easily. So this is us building a ramp for a local resident. We've built one ramp completely, and we've fixed I think 2, and we've got another one to fix. So we're the ramp people in town. This is Lissa and Mary Ann, and they are cleaning up the pharmacy. There's a park right by the pharmacy that is put on by the city, but it needed some weeding, and so they spent the day in 100-degree heat weeding and picking out some cedar trees that were growing that should not have been growing. And these are some of the other projects. We took all of the picnic tables from the local city park, and we brought them to the city office, and we stripped them down, and we painted them. You can see my son, the 3-year-old, painting, and yes, he definitely got more paint on himself than he did on the bench. But you can see the older kids teaching him, and then what's not pictured is 2 more generations above my generation even teaching how to properly strip down the table and how to properly paint and how to properly roll your roller in the paint and get just the right amount of paint on there. Like I said, we also have indoor projects for everybody because there's always going to be that one person that says, I can't do anything outside. So we always make sure we have indoor projects. Clipping coupons is like the #1 thing. Everybody loves it. And so we have everybody gather a bunch of coupons and they clip them, and then we send them out to soldiers, to troop-ons. And then that's literally like their favorite thing to do, and we do that all the time. Over on the side, you can see Riley and Nathan, and they are playing games with members at the long-term care facilities, and so we'll go often and just spend time with them and uplift them and play with them and spend time with them and give them some compassion and some love. These are on the bottom are appreciation baskets. I believe these ones went to teachers and admin and staff at the schools. And then we also have scarves and hats that we made that we sent out to Handmade Especially for You, which is a group based out of Southern California that gives these comfort scarves to women who are coming out and trying to escape their domestic violence. And so they take them to shelters. These are some more appreciation baskets that we've made. We made a lot of them. These are, on the left, you can see Judy pulling out some quick breads. I had to learn what a quick bread was. It's basically a bread that doesn't have yeast in it, so it doesn't rise, so it's quicker to make. And so we spent some intentional time teaching the little kids how to make these quick breads, and then we bagged them up and we just handed them out to people in town if they needed them. These are some after holidays baskets that we made for local families that need some extra help. So our local food pantry is fantastic. They give out holiday baskets. That's great, but what happens after the holidays? So we put together some after holiday baskets, and we handed them out to the same list that the holiday baskets go to, so that those families can then eat after the holidays and still be able to maintain their health and everything so that they can do their job. These are pictures of some boxes we put together to mail off to soldiers through a group called anysoldier.com. We made, I believe, 10 or 15 boxes that day and mailed them out. And it includes random things like soap, tampons, and pads, because these things are sometimes hard to buy and get. It includes also some snacks, although not candy, because that's not included anymore. But some games like puzzle games, Sudoku, crosswords, that kind of stuff. Mayday baskets are also a huge hit. And so we make Mayday baskets and randomly drop them off at people's homes, knock on their doors, and run away and get to see the smiles on their faces when they open their doors and see this beautiful basket. So there's a couple different ones we've done. One thing we always do every year is also the shoe boxes for Operation Christmas Child. Our goal is to always hit 50 boxes. Now, I should mention we're a congregation where our average worship is between 35 to 45, and our goal is to do 50 boxes every year, and we've almost hit that every year. We've also made tie knot blankets. This is also a fan favorite. We've found many different ways to do the tie knot blankets where you don't actually have to tie them, but you can weave them together, and it goes a lot faster. Some more of the clipping coupons. We have made Valentines for the long-term care. We've made door decorations for long-term care. So first things first, what we did is we had to get people on board, right? We had to sell them on this idea that mission was absolutely fun, that this was the way to go, that everyone could be involved no matter your age, no matter your ability. So we found projects for everybody, but then we brought everybody together to make it a community. And so we made these shirts, which I didn't wear mine today, but we made these shirts and we wanted to have the brightest color possible so that you could see us from a mile down the road on the highway. Our town is only like half a mile wide anyway, so we wanted to be able to see each other from one end of town to the other end of town, and trust me, you can. Some of the challenges are that people think that they're not capable of participating. One of the biggest things I heard was, well, I'm 80 years old, I can't get up on a ladder. I can't build these things, I can't swing a hammer, I can't do these things. And I was like, we will find a project for you, which is where the creativity comes into play. We also ran into the problem of people not attending worship before doing the service projects. But you know what? That's okay, because they're doing worship service. They're being worshipful through their hands and through the service and being the hands of Christ. And then this general, it's something different. It's something new. But we've been doing this for 4 years now, and it's still a hit. We still have 20 to 25 people that come every time we do it, and we still have 3 to 4 projects every time we do it, and we still have more and new projects every single day. Some of the lessons and the blessings that we've had from this are that it's starting to become a familiar scene in the community. So it's becoming a lot easier to find these projects. People are coming to us and saying, so-and-so needs their ramp built. I literally just got that call. So it's making it a lot easier for us on the planning end. There's more projects popping up. It's brought in people to our church. They may only show up the 4 times a year that this happens, but it's brought people in. They're experiencing the body of Christ in action, which is the point. It showed the community that we care. The conversations happening around and about our church are different than they were 5 years ago. People are realizing that we're there to do something for them and to be the body of Christ, to love and meet with them. And it's allowed us to meet people who have either wandered away from the church or who we wouldn't have met before. These are our 2 logos, which was important to us so that we could say, this is what we're doing, this is who we are, and this is who we've become. So if you want to stop by my booth, we're doing a raffle. I had Marianne make a mock sunshine box that we've given out to people. Hers is huge compared to what we normally give out, but we have given out some that big. But we're raffling it off. So if you're driving or if you want to take it on the plane as your seat companion, feel free to put your name and your number in the box, and I will draw a winner probably today or later or tomorrow morning. So thank you.